Completionist has to say. So this story's fucking, hold on.
Content creators named Carl.
So to preface this, the Completionist, the YouTuber, his mother has frontal, I forget what the technical term is, but she has dementia real bad in her frontal lobe. Kind of like if you see what Bruce Willis is going through, that same type of dementia where it's very fast acting and it completely just, man, you become like a potato. Like you're just nothing there. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how to you can't talk. You can't you just can't you're basically a vegetable. You can't eat on your own. You have to have assisted living. And it's a very fast progressive disease. And I believe it kills it kills you very quickly. You don't live long with it. It just completely destroys and deteriorates the brain. So his mother had it, and sadly she passed away from it. But like I said, he's the completionist. What he used to do was play video games to 100% completion. I think he reviewed them too. That was his whole shtick. But they would do charity streams and raise money for some foundation to help, progress and find cures and studies for it. So they raised a couple $1 million, and he would always talk on stream about how they're working with, I forget the organization's name, but they were always working with them. There's this one organization they're always working with. And come to find out, they didn't donate any money to the organization at all. I don't know why. I have a theory why he didn't do it. But before he could even really explain what happened, the internet fucking jumped on him and called him a fraud and a phony. They called him out. They fucking pretty much ruined his career just about. Now he didn't spend the money on luxury goods or homes and like that. He just didn't donate it. So it's just sitting in the bank account this whole time, just sitting there. So it wasn't donated at all. I don't know why he's coming out now with an apology when it's been, I think, almost 2 years. He just did it right there and then, saying, listen, we have the money. Just take a picture of the bank account and show it. Here's all the money right here. We just didn't donate it yet. But he was on streams talking about how he already donated the money and how they're working with this organization, and none of that was true. But like I said, he wasn't actually spending the money. He just didn't donate it. Now, why he didn't donate it, I don't know. My theory is that some of these organizations are kind of like scams. So if you go to a store and they ask you to donate $1 to some charity, a lot of this is why I don't donate really. I don't donate at all anymore, because unless they can tell me. So if you go to a store and they say, would you like to donate $1 to help hungry kids? You ask them, well, how much of this dollar is actually going to the kids and how much is going to the organization? A lot of times you'll find out if you donate $1, 75 cents will go to the organization itself, and 25 cents will go to the child that's in need of food. So a lot of these charities are kind of like scams. So a lot of them got caught basically pocketing a lot of the money and only donating a small portion to actual charity. So that could have been one of the reasons he didn't donate it, because of hold on. So say he donates $100 million to this charity, but only 900,000 goes to, or only 100,000 goes to charity. The other 900,000 goes to the organization. So if like I said, when I ask now when I donate, how much is going to this and how much is going to the organization? If they can't tell me, I ain't donating. Forget it. So like I said, he's now back a year later, and I guess he's got an apology video. So it's a 45-minute video, so it should take us close to midnight, and the government shuts down. And I'll just jump back closer to midnight. So I won't pause and stop and pause and talk a lot over this video so we can get through it quick. But like I said, here's his apology video 2 years later. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, my name is Gerard Khalil. In 2012, I started my YouTube channel, That One Video Gamer, and for the last 13 years of my life,
2012,
I've been completing games and making a lot of videos about the things that I absolutely love. On November 13th, 2023, two content creators named Carl Jobst and Mutahar Anas.
Jobs is actually being sued. He was sued by the guys. I forget. He's the world record holder for Donkey Kong, and he won the lawsuit. Made Jobs look like Jobs look like an asshole, and Mutahar is a big fraud himself.
Made videos detailing on how my family's charity, the Open Hand Foundation,
Open Hand, that's
had
the name of
not
charity,
made a contribution since its founding, despite numerous fundraisers and misleading statements by myself about
So it looks like he's sitting like the base of his bed recording
charitable partners. Within a matter of days, and before I really had any opportunity to present any information of my own,
they jumped on him.
The narrative had shifted. I was being accused of embezzlement and charity fraud.
Yep.
With Carl and Mudahar directing their viewers to report my family's charity.
Like I said, Carl already got sued and lost.
Prompting a criminal investigation.
I think for defamation against
Justice. We were
look at his name. You know he is. He's the Donkey Kong champion.
Wrapped up in the fall of 2024.
And Mudahar's a big giant fucking fraud.
A meeting with the Department of Justice to clear up any lingering questions, such as why the open hand had been mass flagged in the first place. I was constantly told by the Department of Justice that this is the final meeting, and the final meeting was right around the corner. But officially now, over a year has passed since then. I didn't want to speak publicly about this whole investigation until I had those final results in my hand, hence my silence all this time.
Okay.
The honest truth is that the Department of Justice will not respond to any emails, despite telling Open Hand's lawyers that they're interested in one final meeting to close the case. It has been over a year waiting on this matter, and the fact of the matter is...
It's the government. Nothing moves fast with them.
I need to move on.
Unless they want to spend your money.
Whenever I get this final documentation, whatever it says, I don't care what it is, I will share the results with whatever I am legally allowed to share as soon as I can. And I am still absolutely confident that the accusations of fraud and embezzlement will be proven false. However, even if we never broke the law, serious moral mistakes were still made by myself. And
yeah, you were a fucking idiot.
The open hand took far too long to donate.
Yes.
We never explained why it took so long until after everyone called us out. And I lied about this for all of Indieland's years, both knowingly in 2023 and unknowingly in all the years before.
Indieland was the charity streams used to do to raise money for the organization.
But it doesn't matter what kind of explanation either I or anyone else involved might provide. This happened, and rightfully so, it pissed off everyone. To my viewers and donors, friends and collaborators,
I gotta shave.
I am so sorry for hiding the truth. It was selfish, full stop. I want you all to have the context as to how everything happened, but nothing I've said so far is an excuse, and neither is anything else in this video. All of this is on me. Even if it wasn't exactly how I imagined things would go, my goal always was to make sure this money got donated to the right place as quickly
Yeah, he didn't commit fraud. He was just a fucking idiot and said he donated the money when he didn't.
as possible. And I'm immensely thankful that it got done. So, with that in mind, I'm sure many of you still have a ton of questions, especially about why this happened in the first place and where I've been for the past year. I want to take some time to tell my side of the story and how we got here, but I also want to clear up many of the false accusations made against me, along with addressing the individuals who not only broke this story, but pushed it into the realm of conspiracy. So, yes, just in case all of you are wondering, this is in fact scripted. I am reading from a script. But I want to be clear, the words that you're hearing today are me and only me. There's nobody else trying to influence what I say here.
Yeah, the guy Carl Jobs, he got sued for defamation and lost. And Mudahar turned out to be a big fat fucking fraud too. So you can't really go by their word.
That you are hearing the truth straight from me, not behind lawyers, other content creators, or voiceovers disembodied by random gameplay footage. So for now, let's go back to where all this began, with my mom. When I was young, I lost my mom to frontotemporal dementia.
That's what's
called. She lived
called.
with that disease for roughly 16 years.
Yeah, it just deteriorates you to like you
basically
regress back to like a toddler.
My family officially launched a charity organization called the Open Hand Foundation, with the mission of raising awareness and money for dementia research, educational tools, and helping families. We saw a real need after the frustrations we had personally experienced working with UCSF and how they handled our contributions, both financially and with my mom's own body parts. Before my mom passed away, my family was assured of how incredibly helpful her donation would be and what a difference it would make to the research. Well, imagine our frustration when, after donating our mom's brain and spinal cord, along with several thousands of dollars, we were told that her body parts were pretty much useless by a staff of completely different people that we didn't even know anymore. It made my family feel like we had just given away my mom's body parts for nothing, with the contribution feeling more like a feel-good courtesy than a worthwhile sacrifice. This is where the Open Hand Foundation began, and with it, the need for knowing how charitable contributions actually get spent.
Like I said, sometimes when you donate $1, 75 cents goes to the organization, 25 goes to the actual research.
I didn't really get involved into
so I don't donate no more
until I reached a place in my career where I really felt like I could use my platform to make a big difference. In 2018, my best friends and I created Indieland, a 24 to 60 hour live stream event where we would play and promote indie games with the people who made them, raising money for charity with all of you at home watching, cheering us on as I went through tons of gross physical challenges at my own expense. Indieland went on for 6 years, and my team and I were so thrilled to see our little show succeed.
1 hour till the government shuts down officially.
However, after we finished our 5th show in November of 2022, I spoke with my family about all the good we were doing, and I really wanted to get a representative from one of our charity partners to come and speak at Indieland 2023. Only then did I learn that the Open Hand Foundation had never made a contribution since its founding, and there were no official partners. All the money was sitting there, untouched and accounted for, ready to be donated. But at the time, there was a massive disagreement between myself and my family. I personally thought it was important that the money be donated right away. Meanwhile, my family's perspective was very different than mine. They had been negotiating with several organizations to establish contracts to take
family
a bulk
infighting
sum of money as a restricted donation. These conversations revealed that many of these potential organizations were happy to take the money, but didn't want to track what they saw as a low sum compared to the 6 to 7 figure amounts they were used to receiving from mostly corporate interest groups. After a lot of tough conversations over the years, my family settled on a goal of raising $1 million before donating, hoping that this would be a massive milestone that would help organizations to take the foundation way more seriously. But I didn't know about any of this, and I didn't care. I wanted it to go to a reputable charity that would do great things with it right away. That means for the next 12 months, I knew about the money not being donated and was having constant...
Like I said, he wasn't spending the money, he was just sitting in a bank account.
...conversations to get it to the right place, trying to repair relationships and negotiate in good faith with several different potential benefactors. Since it was...
But before he can even do anything, Carl Jobs, whatever his name is, like I said, got sued for defamation and lost. And Mudahar, the fake engineer, they jumped all over him and spread these lies and just made it 10 times worse and just kind of ruined this guy's life.
Now up to me to get this money donated. I needed to stay on the board of directors for Open Hand, at least until the donation was officially made. It was around this point that I realized that I was in way over my head. I had just lost my job at G4, and finances were...
Dude, if you don't... Oh, he was at G4, that's right. The whole Frosk. Oh, I miss her. She was such great content. Oh, dude, if he didn't, like, go back and watch that. He was on her side, too. You go, girl. You go, Frosk. She was such a fucking idiot. I think she's out of gaming altogether. She got, some legit real job, and she left gaming. She was the fucking worst. Go back and watch her videos. That was great content. She was so fucking stupid.
For a complete mess all around for myself and my company. I was scrambling to get the Completionist restructured with new ideas and a new tone. And I was practically traveling or doing some work event almost every single week, almost the entire year. But everything was up in the air, and all of it was on me, all at once. And on top of all this was the news that I now had to fix a problem that had been unknowingly brewing for several years. However, even at this point, I couldn't just do whatever I wanted.
I can't until he digs into Mudahar and Jobs.
And this is where the real conflict started.
Yeah,
I tried my best to express how
I know people
I
like
was,
this stuff.
How
I don't like
all of
them,
you
but...
would rightfully be, and that this could cost me and so many people who worked with me everything we had created and built together. And I was simply brushed aside. I had learned the hard way that the charity world moves at a glacial pace, and I've been going around touting all these organizations and all the good we'll be doing for many years, only for all of it to be a bunch of empty promises.
Yep.
Even after I stepped up, my best efforts to donate as fast as possible would never be good enough, as every decision I wanted to make now had to be approved by a long list of people on both the Open Hand side
and
the
corporate world, baby.
That I have been speaking with. So I feel that some context on my family might be helpful right here. I'm the youngest of 5 in a first-generation Lebanese immigrant household. My dad has always loomed large in every aspect of my life, and that absolutely extended to my own experiences with the Open Hand Foundation, and at times, even my own business. The expectations were that I should have been an engineer or I should have been a lawyer. Instead, I'm a video producer who plays video games on the internet for a living. If you ever watched the Completionist live show from a few years ago, then all of this should sound pretty familiar to you. I did not have the final call on any major decisions when it came to the Open Hand and its finances. I was one of many people in charge. To my family, I was seen as the video game guy, not the business guy or the charity guy. Regardless, the outcomes were absolutely my responsibility because all of you at home donated your hard-earned money and time and did so with your trust in me in mind. So when I learned the truth, I made it my goal that no matter what happened, the money had to get donated. There was no other outcome that I would allow. And that's where the real nasty core to all of this is. Nobody embezzled or touched any money, no crime was committed or covered up here, and the results of the Department of Justice's investigation will hopefully one day be proof of this. The decision to wait to donate until the foundation raised $1 million, along with the struggle of figuring out why that was necessary in the first place, should have absolutely been communicated with all of you. The Open Hand Foundation, and myself especially, should have been more transparent with its struggles and its goals, period. A week after IndieLand 2023 had wrapped up, and before I could get back to the donation efforts and conversations I was having, my heart stopped when I saw an email to the Open Hand Foundation from a one Carl Jobst.
There he is, Carl Jobst.
Carl's work, as he had been known at the time to
be a piece of shit,
groundbreaking creator that claimed to take down cheaters, liars, and scammers. And I knew what was coming next.
A
few days later, on November 10th, I received a message from another creator, Mudahar Anas, also known as
fake engineer.
Ordinary Gamers. I respected and trusted Mudahar, so when he asked if I wanted to hop on
Mudahar's a fucking snake.
To talk about a discrepancy with some of the Open Hand Foundation's publicly available documents,
I think he kisses dudes
thinking,
too.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we could chat this out and clear the air. No problem. Mudahar never once asked about the laws or regulations that Carl had asked about, so I had no reason to think they were collaborating together, especially since they had no prior history together online. I hopped on the call, assuming that this would just be the two of us, until my surprise, I saw Carl join. The rest of what's publicly available to all of you is essentially me having a panic attack while trying to be transparent with two creators I respected at the time, all at the behest of throwing my friends and family under several buses. I saw the headlines coming, and I spiraled, losing control of everything. I did my best to reiterate my family's infighting, the struggles with finding a donor for a restricted donation, and that no matter what was going to happen, all the money was accounted for and ready to be donated. And they even acknowledged that there was no evidence of embezzlement and that it's not
there was no embezzlement. He just didn't donate the money.
So it gave me some hope that this whole thing could be recovered in some way.
So I'm keeping it to the charity and like the money and why it hasn't moved. I won't personally be mentioning anybody family related and the personal hell that you honestly have to go through. That's like a fucking no-no for me personally on my end, and I'm sure on Carl's end. That's something that obviously I think we can abide by. That's just an ethics thing for any journalist, really. The very big silver lining is the money is there according to every PP filing that I've seen. It can all be like done right, you know. This isn't a situation of actual embezzlement.
No,
or, you know, money being
he just didn't donate the money. It was just sitting in the account the whole time.
Islands or some cryptocurrency offshore. This is a situation that can be rectified for very positive sakes. But yeah,
I was terrified, and I should have kept my mouth shut. But some part of me believed that if I was honest right from the get-go, maybe I could get out ahead of this, and it could end up just being more of a cautionary situation for people to know. 3 days later, Monday, November the 13th, Mudahar and Carl released their videos, and the story was broken. It made donating even more important, but even more difficult due to the new online reputation of the Open Hand Foundation and myself. Many of these organizations we'd been speaking with suddenly wanted nothing to do with us, legally informing us to keep our distance, and the situation
bad press. Nobody wants bad press.
Thankfully, my brother and I were able to secure a meeting with AFTD the very next day. And by November 29th of 2023, the Association of Frontotemporal Dementia received $600,000 from the Open Hand Foundation.
That's good.
Soon after this donation was made, I resigned from my role on the board of directors, ending my relationship with my family's efforts in the Open Hand Foundation. The money that remained in the Open Hands account was intended to cover any future operating expenses or potential legal fees. That would prove to be important since the very next day on November 30th, we received a notice from the California Department of Justice that the Open Hand Foundation was now being investigated. All receipts were being sent over, and per legal advice,
getting investigated from Commie Land. Shit.
Everyone's mouths were to be kept shut. The main priority for me was, at the very least, the $459,129.90 raised by Indieland donors would finally go to the original cause of dementia research in honor of my mother. At this point, my family and I were completely overwhelmed with the noise coming in. And as a result, we brought in several different professionals to help us determine how to even best respond to the ever-growing list of allegations. This is what finally led to my response on December 9th of 2023. All the information that I'm sharing with you right now and going to be sharing with you, this is what I wanted to say in that video.
Okay.
At the time, the Open Hands Foundation's legal counsel instructed me not to say or share anything because nobody knew what would be relevant to the pending investigation by the government.
Sounds like lawyers got involved, told me to shut up.
From telling the full story because our lawyers instructed me to not address any.
Lawyers told me to shut the fuck up and don't say a word.
Information potentially related to the ongoing investigation, which included receipts, potential evidence, and even fully admitting to any and all of my mistakes. When this response video failed to inspire folks to trust and believe in me still, I knew that my support systems were going to go away very quickly. My financial, legal, and community support disappeared overnight, with a lot of my friendships, both personal and professional, going away with it as well.
You'll be on top,
it was clear
and then down below,
I
just like
failed,
that.
My options were extremely limited. Over the course of the next 2 months, almost all the employees at That One Video Gamer were let go.
Damn.
And I spent most of my time clearing out the now defunct old office. I decided to continue making content as a way just to keep the lights on despite my legal silence. But by the summer of 2024, I eventually stopped producing new content altogether. I would go on to disappear from the lives of practically everyone I knew because I thought that in my own self-hating isolation that that's what everyone wanted from me. But in reality, I ended up doing a lot more harm than good by letting everyone else deal with the public responses. And that was extremely selfish of me. Without being able to truly apologize and take 100% full accountability for the things that I was responsible for, it felt like no one wanted to ever hear from me, let alone trust me ever again. To my moderators, my biggest fans that have rolled with me since day one, and especially to anyone who ever donated to Indieland in any way, shape, or form. So many of you trusted me, my words, and my reputation in what I stood for. I know a lot of you have left this community, are hurt and feel betrayed, and were even threatened or harassed by people online just for saying that you still believed in me.
Which is fucking crazy.
All of you in an unbelievably difficult situation, and for that, I am deeply sorry. To my past employees, I am so sorry that you've had to endure the sudden hardship of needing to find new employment with a resume that had my name and company insignia on it. You trusted me to manage That One Video Gamer and everything related to our brand in a way that would keep us going for the next decade. All of you gave me your blood, sweat, and tears, and some of you for the full 13 years of our existence.
Damn.
I am forever grateful for all of you.
It's crazy.
And I am so sorry
and then
that
just
this ended up
became a
becoming
nightmare.
the worst possible scenario for all of us. To Fraser Perez-Don, Patrick Stingline, and Michael Barity. You've always been my best friends. Your relentless support has always meant the world to me. Indieland and so much of TOVG's ambition and drive.
He can make a comeback, I think.
You dreamed as big as
he didn't really do anything,
not bigger, and contributed to our success.
He did something wrong, but he wasn't.
I will always
it wasn't
be
fraud or
debt.
embezzling. It was just a stupid fucking
My heart
move.
is so heavy for how this ruined your lives and the lives of your fellow employees. I will find a way somehow, someday, to reconcile and seek redemption with all of you, if you will allow me to. I want to especially apologize to the Super Beard Brothers, the Scary Game Squad, the Friends Per Second podcast, and all of the guests and indie game developers that appeared at Indieland for the long road of chaos they had to endure and will continue to endure because of all of this. I don't expect forgiveness from anyone who watches this, but I do want all of you to know that I am doing everything in my power to make it right. And on that note, I do want to talk a little bit about the progress update on AFTD's fight against dementia and how all the money you all donated is helping real people today. In July of 2024, AFTD sent Open Hand a report of what our contribution was going towards.
Okay, there you go.
With the terms of the
some proof of what it's actually going towards.
Negotiated upon. And I'll have that full report in the box down below, but I do want to touch on a few things that I'm very excited about. First off, when we negotiated our donation with AFTD, an outside party matched another $200,000 to our donation.
That's good.
Through one of AFTD's matching programs. So the total at the end of the day was actually $800,000 that went to dementia research, education, and care. This money was distributed through a wide variety of grants to several different researchers around the country, studying both chemical and social questions surrounding dementia, FTD, and all related disorders. Alongside this, one specific grant was awarded to the Respite Care Financial Assistance Program. Now, this helps to alleviate the financial burden of those diagnosed with FTD via direct cash grants for victims and their families. At the end of June of 2024, AFTD distributed 753 grants as a part of this program. That means there's 753 individual families who receive direct assistance hiring professional caregivers, enrolling in care programs, and purchasing supplies like shoes, clothes, and technology, and so much more. Now, this is a very detailed report with a ton of scientific terminology, but if you ever donated to Indie Land over the years, then this report is for you. It's your money helping these families through both new research and relief funding, and it is making an actual genuine difference to so many people. For whatever it's still worth, I want to genuinely thank each and every one of you who donated over the years. Thank you so much for your compassion and generosity, sincerely. On top of all of this, the Open Hand Foundation has committed to donate to AFTD for many years to come, as long as they have money to operate with $50,000 already having been contributed this year alone. Given that this amount was so much smaller than the last donation, they asked to not have any big press releases around this time. Even though I'm not a part of the Open Hand anymore, it makes me so happy to know that the foundation is continuing to donate and hopefully start to rebuild some of the trust. Donors, in the end, if you donated to Indie Land, your money went to charity and only charity.
So like I said, it wasn't fraud. He didn't embezzle it. He just didn't donate it right away, but was talking like he did. And was saying he partnered with his one organization when it really wasn't. But as you can see, he donated it. Now, Carl Jobs, or Jobs, his name, which his name was, he turned out to be a fucking loser and got sued by Billy Mitchell. That's the guy's name, Billy Mitchell. He's like the world record for like Donkey Kong, I think Donkey Kong. And he also has a hot sauce company. He sued Carl Jobs or Jobs, whatever you want to fucking say his name, for defamation. I think slander too. And Billy Mitchell won. And we find out Mudahard is a big fucking fraud who isn't even an engineer. He lied, just like a lot of H-1Bs, to get here in America. And he's not even an engineer. He's just a fucking phony.
That was the promise.
And they ruined this poor guy's life for nothing.
That was the goal, and we got there. I want to reiterate that at the end of the day, I was not trying to use or abuse my power as an influencer. And the intent was always to raise money for charity and never to take any of it.
Yeah.
The memory and legacy of my mother is one of the most important things to me. And truly to this day, despite her passing, I do not think...
I'm 30... How old am I? 36. I'll be 37 in December. Jesus Christ, I'm old. I lost my mother when I was 26 to cancer. So I understand what this guy's going through. It's a rough time.
I have gotten over the hardships and the trauma that I've experienced in my life with her and her illness.
Yeah.
She always taught me to do good. And I was trying to live through her to do good. And I'm still trying to do good to this day. You, as a viewer, deserve the facts, and especially the truth. That's why I want to clarify as many of the allegations against me as I can that are absolutely false. First, I want to address the idea that the Open Hand could quickly just donate the money the same way you can just click donate on a charity website.
Not with that much money, you can't.
Venmo or PayPal a friend.
Almost everyone is screaming at them just to donate the money, which should be pretty easy to do.
One thing you'll see is they'll ask me to gift an amount.
There's Mudahard. There's the fucking fraud. The engineer, the fake H-1B engineer.
$35.
The short answer is no. If we wrote a check to a charity, with no agreements on how that money gets spent or how it's tracked, we would never have received a report detailing how our donors' money was being put to use. It would likely have gone to funding administrative costs like accounting fees and executive salaries. It had to be restricted to make sure that it actually went to dementia research. And negotiating with many of these organizations is really tough when you aren't.
I'm looking at this guy with his big fucking beard. I'm like, man, I gotta shave now too.
To us, $600,000 was an astronomical amount of money, especially for me and my community. But in the charity world, that's small potatoes. There's a ton more to this whole thing, but that's about the best explanation that I can personally provide.
Yeah, people donate millions at a time.
I am not a 501c3 lawyer or accountant. This stuff is unbelievably complex, and it takes time to get it right. Simply put, it was functionally impossible for us to just donate the money in a website's donate button section while being responsible to the people who donated to us and the cause that we represented. That obviously does not excuse the fact that it took far too long to donate, but hopefully this at least explains why, even once you find a benefactor, it's still a very tedious process. Next, I want to talk about Twitch bits and Twitch subscriptions. If you don't know how bits and subs work, viewers can donate money in the form of Twitch bits, as well as subscribe to a Twitch streamer.
Yeah,
for
Kick has them now too. They're called Kicks.
Streams. This money then gets split with Twitch, and the remaining balance then comes to the Twitch streamer at the end.
I think what fucking bits and I don't know what bits, but like subs. I think like 70% of your fucking subscription. Where Kick only think takes 5%. It's crazy.
During the weeks,
Twitch is almost Twitch is like unwatchable nowadays. Like I remember one time, it was back when Ludwig did something. He was like standing out or something, like kind of being like a coward. And I went to go like troll his chat because I heard if you type Asmongold in his chat, you automatically got banned. So I went to just go do it real quick to test it out. I had to sit through. I didn't sit through it, but if I would have done it, I would have had to sit through 8 fucking ads before I can even watch his stream. I didn't even want to watch his stream. I just want to go in there and troll. And it was going to make you watch 8 fucking ads. I clicked out. I don't even go on Twitch anymore. Unless you have Twitch Turbo, or like an ad blocker, it's impossible to watch Twitch. And then we saw the other day, which I think is this is great. I love it. I love this company. They're bringing a rewind feature to Twitch live streams, which YouTube has, which Kick has, for free. And I just found out if you want that rewind feature, you have to be a Turbo member. Twitch is just a fucking joke.
Bits and subs that we received on the channel,
they're on the downslope big time.
Goal throughout the event.
The culture's just terrible there.
I've seen a lot of clips and memes at this point over the years where I have said we don't touch any bits or subs. Technically speaking, I do have to interact with them because I have to claim the income that comes to me and my company, and any money that Twitch pays out is income regardless of where it will end up going later on.
And taxes.
However, either myself or my brother, sometimes referencing a meme name during the stream, referencing something that was taking place at the time in the stream, would donate various amounts of money that match what we had received from Twitch viewers in real time up to that point directly to our Tiltify page. That way, the on-screen totals would match and no amount would ever get forgotten. If there was any discrepancy at the time, we made sure to donate extra to ensure accuracy, and sometimes that happened a few days after Indiana had wrapped up. We worked hard to figure this process out.
Chapters are fucking great on YouTube.
We didn't have everything locked in, but by the time we were done, that was our process. No matter what though, dollar for dollar, everything did go to charity. For full transparency, on screen right now, you can see our revenue for Twitch bits and subs for every year of Indieland. And the document containing this data will be available for
Damn, that's a lot of money. 3,000, 10,000, 2,000, 3,000, 3,000. Direct donations, 49,000, 99,000, 66,000, 71,000. 77,000, 68. Oof. That's a lot of money.
$459,120.90 was contributed to the open hand by the fundraising efforts of That One Video Gamer, The Completionist, and Indieland. All of the money raised for Indieland went directly towards that sum, and absolutely none of it was used for either expenses or personal use. This can be corroborated by both our Twitch earnings.
It's almost 11:30. Almost a half an hour until the government shuts down. Party time.
The process of receiving and tracking Twitch bits and subs was a tedious extra layer to Indieland's operations, which is why we encourage viewers eventually over the years to donate directly to the Tiltify campaign instead. That way, donor money was going directly to the Open Hand, and I don't need to be the middleman at all in this situation. While we're talking expenses, let's address the claim that I used Indieland as a way to earn money from claimed expenses
and
gain clout from running a prestigious event with big names.
I don't think he did. He didn't. It's just the rumor mill gets going, baby, and you're just a fucking victim to it.
Celebrities and respected creators.
People love to see you get built up, and they love it even more when you come fucking crashing down. It's crazy how we live as a society.
Of everyone in the entire world who benefits from Indieland, it's Gerard who benefits the most. He gets the Twitch followers, he gets the media attention, he gets to mingle with game developers and celebrities, he gets all the credit.
As it grew, Indieland became increasingly more expensive to produce, most of all in 2022, when we made it an attendable live show like we had promised our viewers in 2019. That one video gamer shouldered all expenses. That was my contribution to the cause. The general rule of thumb is that a nonprofit charity should only spend around 25% of its income on expenses. And according to the BBB Wise Giving Alliance, 35% is the max amount to be considered a credible charity. The Open Hands operating costs, on average, were only 11.85% during the years that Indieland was being run. We achieved
good money management
because Indieland had no claimed expenses to maximize donor contributions, and more importantly, it was a passion project for our team. This was our idea. This was our vision. This was our dream. In the now leaked Discord interview conducted by Carl and Mudahar, I had previously mentioned that some expenses were recouped by my company via Twitch revenue or reimbursements from the foundation. It actually turns out that I was wrong. No expenses were ever claimed by my company, either through Open Hand or through the Twitch revenue. Between travel expenses for guests, venue costs for 2022,
damn, $88,000,
and all sorts of other extras, that one video gamer spent approximately
a lot of fucking money putting an event on, huh?
Indieland across all 6 years.
It's hosted in someone's fucking basement or something, dude.
The tax burden that one video gamer took on by processing Twitch bits and subscriptions, plus the man hours dedicated to preparing for and running these events. That's hundreds of hours from 5 full-time employees being paid to put this event on together year after year. In short, we spent tens of thousands of dollars of my company's own money to run a charity that we did not get paid for, not for clout, but because we cared. Many employees volunteered additional time to make Indieland happen, and I did not make this mandatory for their duties. We were all building this thing together. This event belonged to the staff who put it together, and they did it because they wanted to. They cared immensely about both indie games and victims of dementia. I am insanely proud of my team, and we only succeeded as much as we did because of their unbelievable dedication. I was the face, yes, and I did have final say, but this was our baby, not just mine. I am so proud of the showrunners, producers, editors,
good job.
And coordinators who actually...
People fucking jumped on him so quick just for clout and just to have some kind of video or story to put out. It's fucked up what we do to people, man.
Goals that they set for themselves. As a final...
Was he a fucking idiot and saying that he donated the money when he didn't and talking about how he's working with this one organization when he wasn't? Yeah. But the way they jumped on this guy, you would act like he thought he embezzled all the money and it was like buying sports cars and houses and shit. When none of that, he got way too much fucking heat for this.
I want to add that many online have noticed that the Open Hand Foundation has entered into a delinquency status with the IRS. Carl Jobst has run with this, saying that this is further proof that Open Hand did not comply with the law. In reality, the Open Hands Legal Counsel was instructed by the Department of Justice to withhold their tax filings until the investigation was concluded. This delinquency status is the charity equivalent of an unpaid parking ticket and gets cleared whenever Open Hand files a specific form, which they've already taken care of. As a result, this delinquency status has been corrected and is actually explicit proof that my family and I fully complied with the investigation and truly have nothing to hide. Now, I wish I could end the video right here and move on and not acknowledge my detractors beyond easily debunked numbers and misunderstood compliance laws. Unfortunately, Carl and Mudahar have made themselves impossible to ignore. They have inserted themselves into my story, whether I like it or not. Both of them have perpetuated and publicized numerous conspiracy theories about myself and my family online.
Warren turned out to be a complete fucking fraud, and he only got sued for slander and defamation and lost.
But everyone associated with my family, including personal information being leaked, stalking, public harassment, and so much more. It doesn't matter that these guys never explicitly said they believe some of this stuff, nor do they verbally condone bad faith attacks. They discussed and entertained several conspiracies that directly hurt people who had nothing to do with any of this at all. One of the conspiracy claims was that my family donated personal funds to cover up the fact that we secretly stole all of the donor money. Both Mudahar and Carl discussed this as not only a legitimate possibility, but as a likely reality, despite the fact that no hard evidence of embezzlement has ever existed.
So
one of the actual conspiracies for this is, one user writes, they just needed a few weeks to secure a loan or liquidate assets to come up with the money to do this. If this conspiracy theory is true and the California DOJ or the IRS are investigating, that's going to draw some serious eyeballs over to them. So if that money is there,
yeah, he's so weird looking.
Prove it exists. I get it. You're behind lawyers and PR agencies.
If this was actually true, the DOJ would have caught it instantly.
Yeah, they would have.
Accordingly, 501c3 charities in California are extremely strict and are under much tighter supervision than most other states in the U.S. An even more outrageous conspiracy tries to allege that my dad poisoned my mom in order to not just worsen her condition, but maybe even cause her diagnosis in the first place. These
Holy
were
shit.
particularly nasty conspiracies that I wanted to address in my initial response video.
Then came back and went to divorce his dad and said, no, I won't let you unless you see a doctor, because the only reason you'd want to divorce me is if I gotten a medical problem. Dude, Carl Jobs is a piece of shit, dude.
That I wanted to address in my initial response video.
I'm glad he lost his
December
lawsuit.
Of 2023, where I shared my mom's autopsy report to prove that yes, she did live and die with frontotemporal dementia. Some people were a little confused about this and were extremely upset that I used my mom's death certificate in that way that I did. But seeing all these accusations that were swirling around me, even the truth of my mom's disorder was now officially being questioned. Now, there's one more thing that I want to get ahead of here. Just a couple of years before my mom passed away, my dad started dating his now current wife while still being married to my mom. When you're committed to caring for someone with dementia for over a decade, life is extremely complicated. My mom was at least 10 years into getting sick, and she was barely communicative at this point.
You're basically a vegetable.
My dad somehow found love at his senior age with an amazing woman who would go on to help our family take care of my mom well into her final days. I should not have to explain what I feel is no one's business but my family's.
Then don't.
Unfortunately,
don't put it out there.
There's
you don't have
receipts of Carl stating that this was the last bit of family stuff that he was holding back, presumably until I decided to respond again, repeatedly referring to my stepmom as a mistress in my dad's supposed affair.
Dude, Carl Jobs is a piece of shit. Considering he used this
exact tactic against Billy Mitchell, accusing his current wife
of
being nothing but a mistress in Billy's alleged affair, I have no doubt in my mind that Carl would and might still try and use this against me in the future.
Sue him. I would sue the shit out of Carl. Big time.
The very next week, he applied to marry his mistress of many years. So that's why Billy lies about his marriage, because the truth is that he had his children out of wedlock to a mistress, and that just doesn't sound quite as wholesome.
Myself and my
like I said, Billy sued him for defamation and slander, and he won. He should do the same thing.
Family have long accepted and loved who my dad married after my mom passed away. It doesn't matter how much Carl tries to twist the truth here. There is no grand conspiracy here. The truth is that despite what they claim, Mudahar and Carl are not journalists, accountants, lawyers, or even engineers. They're YouTubers, just like
got him. The fake engineer.
Me. That's why they never issued
any
corrections to this story, despite
he is a fake engineer, Mudahar.
Disproven even before my own response video came out. Corrections and questions are entertained as possible, but at no point did either of these two admit that they were wrong about anything they incorrectly cited. The 5% rule for charities to donate every single year, Open Hand's filing status, expenses and contribution totals, or even my own words. These were all things that I tried to address in my response video, and others online had corrected them as well. There were a number of laws, requirements, and so much more that both Carl and Mutahar cited incorrectly, with no corrections to this very day.
Sue them.
Let's take a step back real quick. Mutahar's first video
Here we
released
go.
on November 13th. His next upload responding to online criticisms was on November 20th. His third video was on December the 2nd. And a fourth video was then released on December 7th.
Yeah, he
This
just
time
was just
talking
chasing
about our
views.
donation to AFTD. Each and every video, Mutahar told his viewers that the Open Hand needed to be reported for an audit if you, the viewer, wanted anything to change.
Looking at their golf tournament, looking at a bunch of other places.
You know, he
there
probably
is,
stinks so bad.
At least, in my opinion, income or revenue that should be reassessed by an auditing body.
That is until December 9th when I released my response video. In my video, I said that we welcomed an audit, responding to the claim that we were somehow afraid that an investigation might happen, exposing the books and everything up to everyone.
What they don't want is people, especially the authorities, looking into the golf tournament and all of that sponsorship money.
But if you have the money, I don't think it's illogical to show that you have the money and you are willing to donate it. Unless, of course, even if possessing the money after all of this, there are still some serious legal repercussions.
Instead of admitting that, hey, maybe he might have gone too far, Mutahar doubled down, saying that a criminal investigation by the government suddenly doesn't disprove his accusations that we broke the law.
Now, the audit was never the smoking gun during this video, and you might be like, whoa, what are you talking about, Muta?
This is the exact investigation that Mutahar instructed his viewers would deliver justice if they followed his instructions.
Do you want justice to be delivered? So I'm going to teach you guys how to report this properly. Now, obviously, if you want any agency to look into this, check the state of California.
As for Carl, he actually acknowledges that he doesn't correctly cite any of the laws that I supposedly broke.
I couldn't give two shits if any of that is illegal or illegal. It would not affect my own moral judgments because I don't base my morals on whether or not a court convicts someone of a crime.
However, instead of admitting that he got anything wrong in his videos, Carl conveniently says that he is not a journalist, he's just making entertainment.
Yep.
The purpose of a YouTube video is first and foremost to entertain, because if a video isn't easy to understand or entertaining, people won't watch it and I will get less money.
Accusations of criminal wrongdoing and inexcusable moral character are now a form of entertainment and should not be taken as fact, despite the fact that Carl cites himself constantly as an investigative journalist, both in his GoFundMe campaigns, on the record in the courtroom in several different cases, and even in one of his most recent videos.
My channel and my investigative work improved dramatically after I got sued.
Despite the best efforts that I put in my initial response video, I was never going to win, no matter what I said. The money got donated, but that was never the true goal. For Carl and Mutahar to succeed, I had to be irredeemable, and nothing I could have legally provided at the time would have been enough.
Which I will once again prove in this video that you cannot take Gerard at his word. He is proven to be somebody that is deceptive.
It was my
just like Mutahar is. He's a liar too.
The scrutiny of countless legal professionals versus their 8+ hours of sponsored conspiracy-based attacks. So, as a recap, yes,
pot calling the kettle black.
I did lie about where the donations were going, knowingly so after Indieland 2022. I try to take responsibility privately by making sure that the money got donated appropriately, hoping that I can minimize the damage this might do to everyone in my life, keeping this a secret to prevent anyone else from being complicit. In reality, continuing to hide this throughout 2023 only made everything worse, because now I was still directly complicit. There was always going to be hell to pay, and I was
20
just
minutes till
being
the government
stupid
shuts
about
down.
all of this. I should have just partnered with the organization directly, made things right from the beginning, and not cared about restricted donations or where the money was going. I also should not have gone ahead with Indieland in 2023.
October 1st too.
The show had taken a life of its own because it finally was receiving the notoriety for all of our team's hard work, and I did not want to hurt or betray everyone that put their blood, sweat, and tears into the show. This was just as important to indie games as it was to charity, and that added a ton of expectations and pressure. In the end, I made a choice that cost my team their employment and ruined their lives.
Damn.
Not to mention all the residual flack of every indie developer that they
sucks,
received
man.
just because of their association to me. It was short-sighted and dishonest. I should have come clean as soon as I learned about it and separated myself and the event from my family immediately. With all that being said, though, what I did not do was steal, embezzle, or otherwise misappropriate donor funds for anything. Every cent of money donated was always there, waiting to find a benefactor. Any claims of theft, embezzlement, or fraud are categorically false. I also want to apologize to Carl and Mudahar. Despite my criticisms, I know what it's like to have your entire life scrutinized by tens of thousands of strangers who just want to see you fail, and nobody deserves that. I know you both wanted this money donated, and you didn't deserve to get blown off just because people liked me. But I'm not interested in fighting some eternal YouTube drama conflict.
Fuck them, dude.
I just want to come clean.
You do not make peace with your enemy, you destroy them.
As soon as I was able to do so. So if you're really interested in understanding whether Carl and Mudahar conducted a responsible and educated investigation, there's a great YouTube video out there by a YouTube channel called Accounting in YouTube that breaks down the entire thing. And it's made by actual CPAs who looked at everything that Carl and Mudahar looked at. If this is where my work in charity ends, then so be it. I have participated in dozens of public fundraising events over the years that have nothing to do with the Open Hand Foundation or my family for that matter. And the reason has always been the same each and every single time. Real people need as much help as they can get when faced with life-changing disorders like dementia. I've experienced this whole thing firsthand from the age of 10. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to endure, and I never wanted to.
Yeah, that's rough as a 10-year-old to see your mom go through that.
I just wanted to raise money for charity and help promote indie games. I wanted to elevate the industry as much as I could.
My grandmother, who's 78 right now, she started showing signs of dementia when she was about 72. And she has it now. I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or dementia. It's either one. I'm not sure. But she doesn't remember anything. She remembers like stuff that happened like in her childhood. Like she'll remember her next door neighbor when she was a little girl. But if you sit there and have a conversation with her and talk about the weather, she'll forget like that and just repeat the same thing over and over. It's like it's crazy to see someone just deteriorate like that.
Because it's always elevated me. So, where do we go from here? Even if I somehow recover from this controversy, things can never be the same as they once were.
She recognizes who you are. Like if you walk in the house, she'll know who I am. She'll know who my sister is, her kids. Like she'll know that stuff. But having a conversation with her, she won't remember what you're talking about.
Does that mean the Completionist, the show, my channel, my livelihood? Is it all just dead?
I hope not.
No.
Yeah, come on back, buddy.
I still complete games. I actually never stopped completing games. Even through the entirety of last year, I completed well over a dozen games.
My cat wants to go out.
Just because I wanted to. At the end of the day, I still love making videos. I'm not a drama YouTuber or anything like that. I play games and just want to make videos about the things that I'm passionate about. My life is fundamentally different these days. My friend group has completely shifted. My family dynamics are very, very different. And the image that you all had of me is shattered. And maybe that's all okay. Maybe it's not okay. Maybe it doesn't need to be okay.
No, dude, sue.
This is a new beginning for me, the Completionist, and
it's America, we
all of
sue.
you at home who've supported me, should you choose to continue to roll with me. From now on, this is my story to tell. And if you're here for it, I cannot wait to make entirely new kinds of videos that will make you laugh and hopefully make you think. Going forward, you're going to be seeing a lot of me more streaming on Twitch, and hopefully weekly videos will return again soon. But it's going to feel very different. I don't have my company or my team anymore.
Damn.
It's just me once again, by myself. Before I end this video, I want to talk to a few people specifically. To Alex Faciani and Kelly Whistler. You two have been in my corner for years, supporting me through the insanity that's...
Alright, we don't need to hear about them too, but... So, I guess, like I said, he didn't embezzle money. He didn't spend it on personal goods. He just didn't donate it when he said he did. The money was just sitting in the account. Mudahar and that Carl Jobs guy picked it up and ran with it like he was embezzling and he was fucking doing all this scam shit. Mudahar, we find out, is a fraud as well. He's not even a real engineer. He lied to get here to America. So he's also a piece of shit. And Carl Jobst, another piece of shit. He made up a bunch of stories about Billy Mitchell and got sued and lost. So that proves right there he's a fucking fraud too. Carl Jobst. Like I said, Mudahar, I can't stand him anymore. He's a fucking fraud. But I think it's a good video. He, explained himself very thoroughly. Did a great job. I hope he comes back. And hopefully he can just move forward. I'll even subscribe to his channel. Fuck that. Good boy. So, there we go. Welcome back, The Completionist.